I'm ready. I'm gonna upset the world.
There's a fundamental difference between me and Jake. He the manufactured killers. Television and papers made him a killer. He's manufactured. I'm a natural-born killer.
Mike Tyson just reacted. Actually, he straight up laughed at Jake Paul's latest training footage. Honestly, watching Paul work out is almost painful, like a clueless kid trying to lift dumbbells for the first time. Hard to believe, right?
His head is up when he punches.
Bang, bang. Yeah, watch him. There you go.
With just 2 days until the fight, he's out here struggling with basic weights, looking more like a fitness influencer than a serious fighter.
Exciting, and there's not as much glitz and glamour around it anymore. And I would say this was the hardest camp. Just sparring 300-pound guys.
Maybe, just maybe, if Jake spent more time on serious training instead of vlogging every move for his followers, things might look different. But hey, it's too late to cry over spilled milk now. The clock is ticking, and Tyson is ready to unleash punches that could rattle bones. Jake better brace himself, because there's no turning back. The only thing waiting for him in that ring is a brutal Tyson beatdown.
The jogs, weighing 220 pounds, all the miles, all the work at the track is a lot more difficult than running around weighing 205 pounds. So this is definitely the hardest I've pushed myself mentally.
Jake Paul is at it again, and this time he's really outdone himself. With just days left until November 15, 2024, he's about to step into the ring with none other than the legendary Mike Tyson. You have to wonder, what is this guy thinking? Jake's treating this fight like a social media event he accidentally signed up for. If anyone needed proof that clout chasing has its limits, here it is. Tyson, who's pushing 60, looks sharper than ever. His training routine is flat out insane. Early morning road work, 6-hour sessions, and strength conditioning that would break your average gym bro in half.
Cold-blooded assassin. He's a machine. There you go. And Jake has not come up against that. It's a dark place in there, that ring. A lot of things can happen.
Tyson's going all in: squats, resistance training, explosive lunges, turning his legs into sledgehammers. And those legendary left hooks, still as vicious as ever, still capable of making grown men flinch. It's clear Tyson isn't treating this as just an exhibition. For him, it's about preserving his legacy, proving that you don't mess with a predator and expect a soft landing. Tyson's camp has no fluff, no distractions, just raw, brutal preparation.
He's the baddest man on the planet. Raphael is the baddest trainer on the planet.
You can see it. When I put Jake in deeper waters, let's make you feel uncomfortable the beginning to the end of it.
Now flip the script to Jake Paul. This guy actually believes he can fake his way through this. His training footage is pure comedy. Watching him swing at air with the confidence of a TikTok star who thinks he's Muhammad Ali is almost painful. He's struggling to cut down from 220 to 205 pounds, doing it more like a college kid crash dieting for summer than a serious fighter. Meanwhile, Tyson's body is a fortress built and rebuilt through decades of pain and sacrifice. Jake's biggest challenge, balancing his ego with reality. He's been bragging about his grueling training, yet somehow still finds time to promote his new clothing line. If selling merch is on your to-do list before facing one of the most dangerous men in history, you've got problems.
But I know that come fight night, it's going to be the old Mike Tyson, the warrior Mike Tyson, getting back to doing what he does best, which is annihilate people. When you've done that for so long, it's going to be second nature for him when the bell rings.
Jake's idea of sacrifice is laughable. He brags about taking a month off after his last fight like that's supposed to impress anyone. Tyson must be rolling his eyes. In his prime, Tyson's sacrifices meant years of grueling, soul-crushing training camps, giving up everything to become the beast he was.
And so he needed a break. And so we took a month off, got right back in there, and now we're getting ready for Mike. And we're not as heavy as we were before, which is a plus for us. I didn't want us to go back up, but you can guarantee he's going to be ready to fight.
Jake can't decide if he wants to be a boxer or a businessman. His training camp is half focused, half influencer hustle, packed with brand partnerships and Instagram-ready workout clips. This is the guy who thinks he can hang with Tyson, a man who used to make opponents regret being born. Let's not ignore the sheer delusion here. Jake's out here bragging about how he's built differently, more like built for clickbait. Tyson earned every ounce of respect through blood and sweat, while Jake's path has been paved with YouTube drama and stage pranks. He's famous for being famous, not for any real skill. And while Tyson is destroying sparring partners, guys who probably need therapy after feeling his punches, Jake is busy trying to look menacing in front of a camera.
Oh, Jake gets hit with a bare knuckle. Mike Tyson, this thing's over. And I saw Mike Tyson on an interview with Henry Cejudo. He's like, what is it? They tell you you're that old, but I don't feel 50. You're like, oh, okay.
But perhaps the funniest part of all this, Jake genuinely believes he's a threat. You can see it in his carefully staged training clips, where he flails his arms like he's rewriting the book on boxing. His coaches hype him up, but deep down, you have to wonder if even they believe it. Tyson has been openly mocking Jake's delusions because, to Mike, this isn't a challenge, it's a side hustle. He'll walk in, handle his business, and walk out, while Jake's still trying to figure out what hit him. The age difference? Irrelevant. Tyson's power doesn't age. His presence alone is enough to send shivers down spines, while Jake's version of intimidation is about as convincing as a kid wearing his dad's work boots.
You've had a chance to assess Jake Paul. What do you think of his boxing ability?
I think it's, he's came a long way from YouTubing. And listen, I seen a YouTube of him at 16 doing weird dances. That's not the guy I'm going to be fighting. This guy's going to come, he's going to try to hurt me, which I'm accustomed to, and he's going to be greatly mistaken.
Jake Paul must think he's something special. After all, he's managed to go from YouTube nuisance to let's say a wanted boxer riding a wave of hype. But Mike Tyson's seen enough young clowns in boxing to know who's real and who's just faking it for views and likes. Tyson, the baddest man on the planet, watch Jake Paul's latest training video, and you can almost hear the eye roll. Sure, he might begrudgingly admit Paul's made some improvements, but that's like congratulating a goldfish for figuring out how to swim. Tyson doesn't care about Jake's transformation from YouTube prankster to self-proclaimed fighter. To him, Jake's just a guy desperately trying to look tough in a world that doesn't have time for fakes. Jake's biggest mistake: believing he can step into the ring with Tyson and walk away with anything but a shattered ego and probably a broken face.
I love you, man. And boxing thanks you for all you brought to the sport. You're an icon, you're a legend. I look up to you, I'm inspired by you, and I know you're gonna bring an amazing fight and put it all on the line, but no matter what you do, you can't beat me.
Mike Tyson, even at 58, is still training like a relentless beast. While Jake's out there posing for Instagram selfies and hyping up his latest cringe-worthy business ventures, Tyson's putting in the real work: early morning road work, gym sessions that leave grown men exhausted, and strength conditioning that would have your average fitness influencer crying. Tyson doesn't do anything halfway. His entire life has been built on brutal dedication, not whatever watered-down version of boxing Jake Paul thinks he's mastered. Tyson's punches still sound like thunder, and his sparring partners, they leave the gym with a new respect for pain.
And with the utmost respect, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Let's roast Jake for a moment, because he's earned every bit of it. This guy actually thinks he can rely on his so-called stamina to outlast Tyson. Oh, the delusion. Experts have weighed in, and the verdict is harsh. Teddy Atlas has already said Jake's only chance is to pray Tyson gets tired, because if Tyson doesn't slow down, Jake's getting folded. That's not a strategy, that's a desperate hope, the kind only an overconfident fool would bet on. Tyson's power isn't a joke, and even Joe Rogan can't stop talking about how terrifying those punches still are. If Jake doesn't take this seriously, he's going to find himself on the wrong end of a viral knockout, one that definitely won't be getting any love on TikTok.
I train every day.
Okay, how many hours a day
Hey,
you
I
training?
take it serious. Listen. Well, listen, it's the whole day. The process goes through the whole day. I get up in the morning, do the road work. Then I go to the gym at 1. Then I go to the strength and conditioning guy. Then it starts all over again.
Let's get real. Jake Paul can't even pretend he's not terrified. You think Tyson doesn't notice that fear? Russell Crowe, yes, the same Russell Crowe who's played a fighter on screen, knows that Jake's bravado is just that, bravado. Crowe can't even imagine Jake lasting 8 rounds with a legend like Tyson. Roy Jones Jr. tries to be diplomatic. He'll admit Jake's better than he used to be, but let's not get carried away. Better doesn't mean ready. Jake's skills are child's play compared to Tyson's decades of brutal, in-the-trenches experience. It's like comparing a plastic sword to a battle-hardened warrior. Jake's improved, sure, but he's still light years away from being anything Tyson would even consider a worthy opponent. And the best part, Tyson's sarcasm isn't even subtle. He's practically laughing at how pathetic Jake's journey looks next to his own. Tyson's lost more battles, endured more pain, and come back from more brutal defeats than Jake could ever imagine. But Jake, he's too busy pretending to be a fighter, treating boxing like another brand-building venture, when in reality, it's a sport that eats pretenders alive. Tyson knows this, and he knows Jake is in for the reality check of a lifetime.